Testing, testing.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool. Let's go.
Whew. What a week it's been.
Truly. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emily, and welcome to What a Week.
You want it, we got it. We're bringing you the top news and pop culture stories you need to be in the know.
Let's dive right in.
Okay, up first we have our internet culture stories. And seriously, what a week.
Internet culture.
First of all, before we get into this next story, I just want to remind you all again just how serious this time is right now. We've officially hit 200,000 cases a day nationwide of coronavirus. It's only going to get worse, and we have no idea what the impact of the Thanksgiving get-togethers and traveling will be on our case numbers. Please remember to stay safe, stay home when you can, and wear a mask when you're not able to stay home. Okay, now let's get into Jake Paul. I mean, there's so much to say, but this week he was interviewed by the Daily Beast, and the interview was absolutely wild. The article is literally titled, Jake Paul believes COVID is a hoax and 98% of news is fake. Obviously we know Jake Paul sucks and is the worst, but honestly, I didn't even realize to what extent. He got in trouble with the city of Los Angeles for throwing a huge party over the summer, but the thing is, he's not just, unaware, he's truly ignorant.
He's so ignorant. It's insane.
I honestly,
mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling. Because sometimes I'll get, Logan Paul and Jake Paul mixed up, so I'm just, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget, all the things that, Jake Paul himself has done, and I'm it's so bad. I mean, the first half of the interview, the interviewer was just asking Jake Paul about his boxing endeavors, so it was kind of a positive, hey, what are you doing now? Tell us about your boxing hobby, whatever. But then the interviewer started asking about all the controversies surrounding him, which made me remember all the controversies, which was him getting fired from his Disney show.
Which I forgot he was on.
Which I totally forgot. The disturbances he caused in his neighborhood, his use of the N-word, him filming his friends looting when people were protesting for Black Lives Matter, him being investigated by the FBI, and literally, the list goes on and on. And the thing is, Jake Paul wasn't really commenting on anything. He got asked, but then he got asked his feelings on COVID, and literally in the interview, shit completely hit the fan. So the interview kept, proving his points wrong. Jake Paul would be it's the same as the flu. The interviewer would say how many people died from COVID this year, and Jake Paul was well, it's the same as the flu. And, the interviewer was literally no, a fraction of people have died from the flu that have died from COVID. It's not the same. And Jake Paul was well, there's a vaccine. And the interviewer was there's literally not a COVID vaccine.
Not
what
yet.
are you talking about? So it's just, it started to get, you could tell the interview was, good on the interviewer. He obviously was pushing where he should be pushing. I think oftentimes maybe interviewers might not feel comfortable doing that, but I think it's so important to fact check who you're interviewing. But then Jake Paul started kind of claiming that the interviewer was asking leading questions and that the interviewer was arrogant, that news was all fake. He literally said 98% of news is fake, and so on and so forth. And honestly, my favorite quote of the whole thing, Jake Paul started saying the interviewer has so much influence as someone working in media and that he should open his mind. So the interviewer replied and said, well, you influence a lot of what people say and breathe and do too, probably more than I do. To which Jake Paul replied, quote, no, definitely more than you do. I've never even heard of you. And I'm what is happening? I was
He's
this
such
is
an asshole.
I was this sucks. This is literally, I'm so what do you think
If I were
of
the
all
interviewer, I would be so annoyed. I would be first of all, I have to interview Jake Paul. Fucking trash. But then again, he works for the Daily Beast. So I guess, he kind of is used to interviewing, influencers and stuff.
Totally.
I think Jake Paul is wild. I think the Pauls, Logan and Jake Paul, suck. They both, and I also do really get them mixed up, but it is super ignorant and just inconsiderate and just shows his privilege. Totally. And again, I think I mentioned this the other week when we talked about Charlie D'Amelio. Got her name right. I practiced. It's just really frustrating to see all these YouTubers and influencers and TikTokers, whatever, just kind of like being really ignorant or just being super like privileged and just like not being aware of their actions and how much influence they actually have. For Jake Paul to go on and say that 98% of news is fake and that COVID is a hoax is extremely irresponsible when all the facts literally show that this is not a hoax. And it's also just kind of like, it takes away credit from credible news sources when you say 98% of news is fake. And I think it also comes back down to the idea of like, just because you don't believe something means it's fake. And that's not true. I think that's like such a big thing right now where people just refuse to believe reality or just have a different opinion. And so then they just say, oh, you're wrong, that's fake. And that's not. It's just, that's called a difference of opinion. And I think, and it just sucks that so many people listen and follow Jake Paul and Logan Paul and they think their word is the Bible or like their word is true. And that's how we get annoying, ignorant kids who become Jake Paul 2.0.
Definitely. And I will say, like, I don't follow Logan Paul, so I don't know everything he's doing, but I have seen clips of him recently where he talked about the importance of being allies while all the Black Lives Matter protests were really at its height this year. And he also talked about recently when Harry Styles was in his Vogue cover wearing a dress and wearing a skirt, and Candace Owens was like, basically saying like toxic or saying masculine, that's not masculine and stuff like that. Logan Paul actually did like a whole segment on, he has like a show or something.
Yeah, he has a podcast.
Yeah, and he was talking about toxic masculinity. And I was like, oh, Logan Paul's actually like, based on those two examples, and again, I don't know what else he's doing. Honestly, I do not have any interest in following the Paul brothers unless it's like heavily talked about like this. But I'm just like, he's actually kind of doing some good things. Like, if he has this huge reach with his show, like, he's touching on topics and he's touching on them in a way that's important and that I think is actually a good influence. So I'm like, you know, like, Logan Paul was the horrible one that he took the video of the dead body in Japan. But I mean, can people grow from it? Maybe. Jake Paul obviously has not grown from anything, but maybe Logan Paul could be growing from it. I hope.
I think to your point, I think he is. I mean, I don't really follow them so much like you. I just really don't. I'm kind of annoyed. But to your point, I do think Logan has been trying to improve, and I do think everybody grows, and like they're really young still. They're like our age. They're like 25. 26 maybe, so like we're 24, but they're still like young enough to change. And I think the difference is that like I think Jake Paul right now has been getting so much hype, and it's just like loves how people are like, he does things to grab attention, and it's like the shock factor. And I don't think he's over it. Like, he got married to Tana for money. Like, it's just, he's all about that shock factor. And I think Logan Paul's kind of grown from it, or is starting to grow from it, and hopefully Jake learns to get his shit together, because it's just like such a bad influence. It's a bad look. I mean, also like from a brand point of view, like not a lot of brands want to work with people that are so crazy. So it's I mean, but thankfully at least one of the brothers is getting it together.
Definitely. Hopefully. We can only hope that they will get better. Well, on to our next story. You may remember back in 2016, Jamal Hinton went viral on Twitter because a random grandmother, Wanda Dench, invited him to Thanksgiving dinner by accident. When he pointed out her mistake, Jamal asked if he could still come to Thanksgiving that year, and Wanda said, "Of course you can. That's what grandmas do. Feed everyone." And they literally have spent the past 5 Thanksgivings together, which honestly is so
cute.
Sweet. So cute, but this year's was sadly different. Back in April, Wanda and her husband of 43 years, Lonnie, both contracted COVID. Lonnie sadly passed away from complications due to the virus. Wanda, Jamal, his girlfriend, and her daughters took safety precautions and COVID tests to be able to spend the holiday together. Wanda said, "I wasn't looking forward to it at first because Lonnie wasn't going to be there. The past 7 months have been so difficult. But this was really important to me. I can't explain how much joy I had having good friends with my favorite company." We laughed, we had a great time, we reminisced about the past. It was so good for all of us.
It's like a bittersweet story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's...
I know, it's sweet how just an accidental text can make this, I mean, lifelong friendship. They're going to be friends forever, which is so beautiful to see. But, I mean, and I love that Wanda found comfort in spending time with Lonnie and Lonnie's girlfriend. Or, sorry, not Lonnie, Jamal and Jamal's girlfriend. I'm glad she found comfort in that they could be there for her.
Yeah, I'm glad that they could be there for her too. And this just points a really sad but honest picture of how this Thanksgiving was for a lot of families. I mean, I think it's safe to say that at this point, everyone knows at least one person who got COVID, either if it's like someone you know directly or someone you know through a friend or a cousin or whatever. And it's so many people this year had to go through the first major holiday without a loved one, and they could have lost them during COVID, or maybe their loved one hasn't passed, but they're in the hospital because of COVID. The cases are, like you mentioned at the top of the show, astonishing and incredibly high, and it's just, you have to find the positive, but it does really suck, you know, having to spend it without someone you love. So it's just a reminder to like really make sure you value everything and just to take this seriously. And it's so cute that Jamal and Wanda are still going at it, and to think like they're probably going to keep going at it until maybe Jamal marries his girlfriend, if they get married and have kids, and then like, I don't know, it's just so cute, and like it's just so cute.
I know, it really is bittersweet, like you said. I mean, like, you can find solace and kind of family and friends around you, but it's really difficult to spend a holiday without someone that you expected to always be there. And it's like you said, we all just need to remember how serious this is. And I mean, our holidays over the December are going to look so different this year, but we need them to look different by taking this seriously and maybe not seeing family we typically see, so then we can still spend time with them in future holidays to come.
Exactly. It's a sacrifice for now, but it's for the better for everyone in the long run. And now we're going to move on to our next segment, Entertainment Roundup.
And there's people that are dying.
Entertainment Roundup.
So our top story is a mix of entertainment and news. We want to talk about Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. On November 25th, the New York Times published a moving and deeply personal op-ed written by Meghan. In it, she revealed that she suffered a pregnancy loss in July this summer. She wrote in part, quote, "After changing his, Archie's diaper, I felt a sharp cramp. I dropped to the floor with him in my arms, humming a lullaby to keep us both calm, the cheerful tune of a stark contrast to my sense that something was not right. I knew as I clutched my firstborn that I was losing my second. Hours later, I lay in a hospital bed holding my husband's hand. I felt the clamminess of his palms and kissed his knuckles, wet from both of our tears. Staring at the cold white walls, my eyes glazed over. I tried to imagine how we'd both heal." I mean, it was an extremely moving piece and very honest piece. And, you know, she also mentioned that she found out that in a room of 100 women, 10 to 20 of them would have suffered a miscarriage, which is just heartbreaking. Meghan talking about this is amazing and can really help so many women who are going through similar things. But of course, people just had to criticize her. But I don't really want to read any of those comments because, to be honest, they're absolutely unnecessary and aren't doing anything to support women and to uplift each other. So what I do want to talk about is just the impact of her op-ed. I mean, someone like Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, talking about this, or honestly any person of influence who's in the public eye talking about pregnancy loss, miscarriages, is something extremely beneficial to any other normal, quote-unquote, woman going through the same exact thing. I mean, in a room of 100, 10 to 20 women could suffer a miscarriage or will suffer a miscarriage. That's a very high number. I mean, so I think it's great that she was being so open and vulnerable, and I feel like up until recently we didn't really hear a lot of people talking about this kind of stuff in the media, but within the past year or two, so many people in the public eye have come forward. Chrissy Teigen talked about her pregnancy loss a few months ago. Hilaria Baldwin also talked about her pregnancy loss. So it's great that Meghan did this. It's extremely brave of her. I can imagine it was really hard. What do you think, Alex?
I mean, it's incredible. And the thing is, too, I mean, like, of course, we kind of talked about this last week when talking about the royal family. Like, I don't follow it too much and follow them too much. So you often don't expect necessarily maybe people in positions like that to get so vulnerable. Yeah. So seeing Meghan Markle kind of write this whole personal essay about what she went through and how it made her feel and how, like, she kind of, like, what she's going to do about that and kind of what she'll get into is just, I think it was so powerful. And I love that. I mean, Meghan Markle, my impression of her is that she's so philanthropic and so wanting to help people. Yeah. And I think this was huge. I mean, you don't even realize the impact of your words. And, I mean, at the moment, neither of us can really relate to this. But literally, it's like what we talked about with Chrissy Teigen. Like, people in these positions talking about stuff like this that has normally been so taboo to talk about. And, like, being open about their feelings is so impactful. And I'm sure it makes people feel not alone.
Yeah. But the op-ed wasn't entirely about her miscarriage. It was also about how everyone right now is going through a hard time. And it's important we ask people, are you okay? Instead of criticizing them, especially when you're going to be talking to your family members a lot right now over Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, whatever, because of the holiday season. So it's important to remember that everyone right now is going through a lot. The country is divided, but at the end of the day, we are all human and we all need to be compassionate. So just like Meghan Markle said, let's not forget about that and let's make sure that we look after one another and ask each other if we're okay.
Mm-hmm. That's such an important message. I mean, literally, we're all going through it right now, like, in some way. And I think it's like she said, we would be a lot better if all of us just had compassion for each other in that way.
Exactly. I completely agree. And it was a nice reminder because sometimes you forget to ask people that. So, I hope you're doing okay, Alex.
Oh my God, I hope you're doing okay.
I am.
Good.
And on that note, we're going to keep it pushing onto our good stories, good news of the week.
Yes. Well, I'll go first. My good news of the week, and sorry if you're listening to the podcast version and not the video version, but I got my Travis Scott McDonald's merch in the mail. You can see Cactus Jack with the McDonald's symbol. It says, I'm loving it on the sleeve. He's on the back of my shirt. I'm loving it.
How long did it take you to get the shirt? Because I feel like that was released forever ago.
That was a while ago. I mean, I think I got the Travis Scott, like, food back in, that was, like, September. Yeah. So I ordered it, I think, like, September. Yeah, that took a while.
It was early September because I remember around my birthday, J Balvin dropped his. Oh my God, you literally waited months for this.
And it's here, and it's okay. It's not as, I thought it'd be cooler, but it's okay.
And I'm gonna make sure to link the video where we talked about the Travis Scott meal in the YouTube video, so you can check out Alex and how excited she was 2 months ago.
I was like, this is history, you guys, and now they're, like, doing more McDonald's meals. Like, I was thinking this was gonna be the first and last one in, like, 40 years. I was like, oh my God.
2 weeks later, J Balvin drops it.
Yeah, literally. I need an Ariana Grande McDonald's meal. That's what I need.
I don't think she'll ever do a
I don't think she will. I think she's vegan. Maybe when the McDonald's and vegan burger. Yeah.
I just don't think she'll ever do anything fast food related. Maybe like Starbucks.
She loves Starbucks.
And like the Grande, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, she loves Starbucks. I would buy Starbucks Ariana Grande, like Ariana's Starbucks.
She should do that.
She should. I'm like, ooh. I'm thinking of the designs already. Well, what was your good news of the week?
I mean, Thanksgiving just passed and it was really nice and chill. I thought I was going to be like sad because this is my first Thanksgiving home in 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, since college. So I was excited, but I was kind of sad because I was like, oh, I'm not going to be with my whole family. Like, is it going to be weird and like different? Like, I miss my cousins and stuff, but it was nice to just like not have to be stressed. Not that like my family, thankfully, like they don't really ask me too many questions about like, where's your boyfriend, or like, why are you single, and like kind of like politics and stuff. So it was never like that kind of stress. It's just kind of like, I have to cook so much food and like get it ready and like take it to the house. And so it was kind of nice to just be like more relaxed this year. And I did all of the side dishes. Like my mom just made the turkey and I did like everything else. And it was kind of, I felt adult.
Ooh.
And it was just nice to like relax, take it easy, like no pressure, kind of just like wear comfy clothes and just like we didn't eat super bad either, so it's just like a nice different like vibe. But I was okay with it. It was great. And we put up our Christmas tree yesterday.
Oh my gosh, yay. Ours is up now. We're gonna decorate it today and I'm excited.
I got like I get real Christmas trees. Because that's like to me the best way to do Christmas. And I have like battle scars. Like I decorated it by myself this year and it's like no joke decorating a Christmas tree. Like,
oh my gosh.
No fucking joke. Like, I literally
exhausting.
have, like, a cut. If you are on the YouTube, you can see this little cut right here. It's legit.
Yes, I think I see it.
And it's just painful. And so, yeah, but I'm proud of my tree.
Yeah, that's intense to do all by yourself. I've never committed to doing it that
And
much.
the, like, lights, and then you're just, like, looking, and you're like, oh, this looks gross, and I have to, like, rearrange the lights, and then put the ornaments up, and then you get a cut, and then your fingers are all, it's a lot. But it's worth it in the end for the final product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay, I'm glad. You'll have to share a photo of it.
I will.
Well, we'll get into y'all's good news of the week. Emily, why don't you start us off?
Yes. So our first good news of the week is from Kristen Rivas. She says she enjoyed Thanksgiving at home, COVID-free with her family.
Yay, I love that. And then Jack said, spent the holidays safely and am switching to an easier work schedule. Always a plus.
Oh, I love that, especially for him working in news. Good for you, Jack.
Yeah, seriously.
And my friend Ivana Solis says she finally got her big girl job, which is so exciting.
Oh my God, that's really exciting. Congrats.
Yeah, especially during COVID, during a pandemic. Go get them, girl.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been another episode of What a Week.
Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow along with us on social media. You can look at the video on our YouTube, which is What a Week with Alex and Emely. You can also be a Patreon. You can just go to What a Week and, give us some support. Or you can follow us on TikTok. Once in a while we post a TikTok. We need to get better at that, but
I know we do. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, and you can follow us there at whataweekshow_. We're on Instagram at whataweekshow, and we're on Twitter at whataweekshow_. I know there's some tricks there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much.
Have a great day. Stay safe. Mwah.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye.